Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a pen that I've had for a while. I don't think I've ever used it before I planned on doing this video. And I realized also that I've been doing a lot of videos about more expensive pens. So I wanted to do something that is actually a cheap, affordable pen that everyone can get. So I did a video, I'm shooting a video about the Jinhao 51A, which is this lovely pen. This pen is, for me, I paid about $5. It really depends on where you get it, but it's easily available at Goulet Pens, but you can also get it, for example, at AliExpress or eBay. AliExpress and eBay are cheaper than Goulet, but Goulet will send it to you faster. Anyway, cheap pen today, but does not mean that it's not a good pen. You'll see this in the writing sample. We're gonna switch a shot now and actually look up close at the Jinhao 51A. All right, let's switch it. All right, here we are with a close-up shot of the Jinhao 51A, which is a funny name for this pen because it reminds me of the Parker 51 in shape, and then if you uncap it, you will see that there is a hooded nib. So it is definitely inspired by that. Cap, very reminiscent with the conical shape. They did change up the clip on this one, which they don't actually always do. I have a couple of Jinhaos, or they might actually be Wingsungs that do an arrow clip. So they have the Parker shape and then also an arrow clip. So this one, slightly different. Reminds me actually of a pilot clip with the ball at the end. It's fairly, I don't know if I can properly show you. It's fairly usable, but it's very thin. I would not actually clip it to a really thick shirt. Just keep it small, clip it to your notebook. This is fine. And it'll handle it fine. A thin shirt, fine, but don't do like a really thick flannel or a really thick sheaf of papers, because I think you will bend it out of shape. It's not the thickest piece of metal and it might get stressed out. I actually don't clip this to anything. I don't really bring it with me, or I haven't yet, at least. This is an acrylic version, so plastic. There's a wood version, and then there's an acrylic clear version that you can buy. I just really fell in love with these colors because it's beautiful, in my opinion. The cap says, if it focuses, doesn't really want to, maybe slightly too close. It says Jinhao, and then 51A. Really hard to spot, but yeah. It says the make of the pen, name of the pen. This pen, I bought it on eBay for $5. I know you can get it for cheaper on AliExpress, but you can also get it for slightly more at Goulet Pens. The upside of getting it at Goulet Pens is that it will ship quickly. If you get it on AliExpress or eBay, it will take a long time to get there. Okay, here we have the hooded nib. Section is black, nib is hooded, and then on the back you can sort of see the feed, but it's a hooded nib, so there is no like visible big nib. There is a version of this pen that comes with a regular nib, so like a regular fountain pen nib. All right, this pen came with a converter, which is very nice for the price. It's just a Jinhao converter. They're decent. Like, they're nothing special, but they're decent. You will probably be able to eyedropper this body. I have not tried it, but it's just full on plastic. Problematic might be this. I don't actually know for sure if it's metal. I think it's actually just plastic, so you might be able to eyedropper it. Let me look at it up close off camera to see if it is metal or plastic. All right. Weirdly enough, I'm not super confident about what it is, so I think it might be metal. It feels really light and thin. That's why I thought it may have been plastic, but I'm not completely 100% sure about that. But yeah, if you eyedropper it, I mean, do it at your own risk. Just silicone grease it to heck and then see how it goes. It would be cool to see the ink slosh around. As you can see the converter through it a little bit, like through the parts. And it's a lovely looking pen. And yeah, it cost me $5. So of course, with these pens, the question is, cheap pen, looks cool, but does it write? And luckily enough, it actually does write. So I must admit, I put a very wet ink in here. So I don't have an experience with a non-wet ink. But with this wet ink, it writes really well. I've been using it in my journal and I really enjoy it. So it's a Jinhao 51A. It doesn't really state the nib size, but I would say it's a fine nib. Let me zoom out a tiny bit. Fine nib. And then the ink is Iroshizuku. Sumi, I believe. It's Sumi or Sume. I think it's this. And it's a black ink. I don't really go for black inks. But this ink is so wet. I was like, I need something wet in my pen. This sounds really weird. Nib is smooth. Ink is very wet, so I think the nib is a medium wetness. The ink is just really compensating for a lot. So medium wetness. It's a hooded nib. Hooded nibs tend to not be flexible. I'm gonna push it for you. Okay, basically nothing really happens when you push it. There's no flex. I mean, if you push it hard enough, there's flex once. But I wouldn't recommend it. So, I like this pen. I always feel a little conflicted when a pen company sort of rips off another pen company. And I know we could say that this is an inspiration. It doesn't really like, when you look at this barrel, you don't think, oh, it's a Parker 51. But if you actually look at the shape and like with the conical cap thing on top, and then the hooded nib, you can say, yeah, they took a lot of inspiration from Parker. There are plenty of these pens that do that. It's up to you to decide whether you mind. I don't. It doesn't stop me from buying them, as you can see, but I do feel conflicted. It is still a good writer. If you have a small budget and you want to try a pen with a hooded nib, you can try this. If you do feel too conflicted about this, maybe borrow a vintage Parker from someone. Get a Parker 45. They're not too expensive. But yeah, it's a good pen. It writes well. It looks very pretty. And you get bang for your buck, basically. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this informative. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. And when I have time, I shall answer the questions. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.